Thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. The countdown is on. It's to the Anambra governorship election, and of course, the stakes couldn't be higher. The Independent National Electoral Commission says it's ready, even with reported minor network glitches during the mock accreditation exercise in some polling units. The commission is saying that the BVAS challenge was temporary and resolved, and it's now promising a seamless process come 8th of November. Meanwhile, the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu has also issued a stern warning that any form of electoral violence or voter intimidation will be met with, quote, tough and uncompromising action, end quote. To boost participation, INEC has extended PVC collection to the 2nd of November. As we speak, it's about 65% PVC collection. Voters now get a chance to collect their cards even up to the 2nd day of November. Tonight, we begin with the commission itself. We're joined by Elizabeth Ago, who is the resident electoral commissioner for Anambra State. We are going to connect with her shortly to understand precisely where INEC is and what is expected to do differently this time. They say that the Anambra election is a litmus test of the new INEC chairman's performance, who has just recently been sworn into office by Mr. President after being cleared by the National Assembly. We'll get back to that conversation shortly. Let's go beyond INEC first. We can't establish connection with the resident electoral commissioner yet, but beyond INEC's readiness lies the battle of the ballot. I'm talking about the final stretch of political strategy and public persuasion. Joining me is someone at the heart of this race, Dr. Ijoma Arodiogu, who's APC National Vice Chairman, Southeast. While INEC fine-tunes logistics, political parties are now consolidating their last-minute push. The APC, we understand, recently unveiled its Election Management Council, while the campaign organization for the party's candidate also continues its grassroots offensive. Thank you for joining us on the program this evening. 8 days out, what's your party's ground report from the campaign?
Well, thank you very much for having me, and good evening all. Well, my party is campaigning very well for victory in the election. Tomorrow we'll be in Oka for a rally to inaugurate the National Campaign Council. And we know that our candidate has been everywhere in the states. He has visited all the local governments. We are going for victory. We're working very hard towards that. I'm the secretary of the election management for the governorship election, and I know that we are not leaving any stone unturned for victory in the election. We have a very popular candidate.
Okay.
And obviously, everybody is aware that the governor of the state, Professor Soludo, is performing very poorly and becoming very unpopular among the electorate. Get to that.
I want us to talk about APC strategy first before you start throwing jabs at the incumbent. Where are you focusing most? Are you looking at urban turnout or rural penetration?
Well, our strategy is massive campaign, rural mobilization from the grassroots. That is our strategy, to sell our candidates and win the election. That is our strategy. Thank you.
How confident are you, though, about voter mobilization, given reports of apathy?
Well, it is not all ruled out about apathy. And but we are mobilizing our members and the electorate to come out and vote en masse.
Yeah, we look forward. That's precisely what we hear from parties like yours. But INEC says only about 63.9% of voters have collected their PVCs. They've now extended collection till 2nd day of November. How optimistic are you? Does that figure bother you, though? The current collection rate for PVCs?
Well, it does bother us, but then we hope to get the larger percentage of the voters, and that is what is important to us. We won't force people to collect their PVC, but we know that 64%, if up to that 64% turn out to vote on election day, I mean, that is not the worst that we've had in this country. Thank you.
Let's bring in the resident electoral commissioner for INEC into this conversation as we count down to the Anambra election. She joins us live from Anambra, Madam Elizabeth Agu. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Headlines. We are 8 days to the polls now. Let's begin with what you consider the overall preparedness at this point for INEC. How ready is INEC for this election?
Thank you so much. For we in INEC, we are very, very ready, well prepared. Like I said, we've done everything that is needed to be done. All we are doing from now on is to dot our I and cross our T. All the sensitive, non-sensitive materials up to viral level has been procured, sent to us from our head office, received by us, bashed to the polling unit level. That's the level of preparation. We have charged all our PVCs, configured and kept ready, distributed local government by local government, ready for movement on the 6th to the local government. Our ad hoc workers will train all the staff, the AEOs, the EOs, REC, management, everybody involved in the election, that is INEC staff. We have trained them, ready to hands on the deck. As of today, we began to train the POAPOs, the ad hoc workers that will be doing the work in the field. We had trained the security agencies, all of them, at the state level, at the senatorial level, senatorial district level, that they are ready for action. So we are very ready. We have finished with the transport organizations, the NEUT, NUROTW, and the NATO. We have signed agreement with them. We have released money for them to mobilize the vehicles, and we are good to go. We are very much ready. There have been serious ongoing campaign, voter education, both in the radios, televisions, and food soldiers. The CSOs, we mobilize CSOs who are in the rural areas, going to the marketplaces and other places, educating the people of Anambra on how to vote and how to vote for the candidate of their choice, including encouraging them for a full turnout on that day, on the 8th of November.
Indeed.
That is Upper Saturday. We are very much ready.
Absolutely. I like the optimism, and it sounds good. But, you know, there's also something on everyone's mind, the network glitches during the mock accreditation. Explain to us exactly what went wrong.
The what?
The network glitch that was reported during the mock accreditation.
There was no network glitch during the mock accreditation. We normally have, there are some rural areas where there are network challenges, and we normally have plan B. It is that plan B that is to hotspot. That's what we used. We were trying to demonstrate it for our chairman. That's what we used in 2021. If you remember, or for those of you who are in Anambra here, there was no network glitch in Anambra during the 2023 election because we did what we call plan B, that is to hotspot, so that there will be no stories. We don't like telling stories on such sensitive things. So we were going to do it again. We will normally have facilities that will enable us hotspots so that when we are uploading, there will be no problem. You know that, like you rightly said, we had a 64% after the first 5 days of the PVC distribution. Out of 100, if you have 64 in the first 5 days, the next 5 days, the whole thing will be finished. So we are very optimistic that the PVCs would be totally distributed by Sunday, close of work, but around, because we have extended to 5 or 6 to ensure that the people are coming out en masse, coming to collect their PVC. So that is not a problem.
So you're saying that there's a contingency protocol if a beavers cannot connect. Precisely how many beavers have been deployed for this election, and how many backup devices do you have across the 21 local government areas?
For this election, we have 5,718 PVCs. Why? We have 5,720 polling units, but there are 2 polling units that have 0 population. So those ones we are not going to deploy there. What we will have is 5,718 PUs where they will be contested and results will be collected on those areas. But we have 183 split units. What we mean by split units is if any unit, before INEC creates more polling units, if any unit exceeds our maximum, we will now, at the threshold, we will now have an additional, what is called a split unit, close to that one, but there will be 2 beavers deployed there. Voting point, which are usually called voting points. So we have 183 of such. We are going to deploy 183 beavers to that place. We have 978 reserve beavers. But from experience, we do not have a broken down. I've never experienced broken down beavers in Anambra since 2022 November that I assumed duty here. But that notwithstanding, we have almost 978 beavers configured, charged for exigencies. So we are very, very good. And the beavers that may have issue.
Yes, I was going to ask if there's a tech support response team per polling unit. What is the current arrangement, especially when you need to intervene in that regard?
We have tech support arranged for RAs, registration area. We have those arranged for local governments. They will all be all over the place, and they will be with beavers, which means if there is any incident, don't forget too that we have power banks available to the associated to the beavers, which means there will not be any issue. But in case there is, the tech supports are there to get it sorted out. We have enough of them already. Technical support staff already deployed, waiting for movement.
All right. We understand that INEC would deploy over 24,000 personnel across the over 5,000 polling units, collation at 326 ward centers. There's a huge operational footprint, Madam Rec. My question really is, what have you identified as the weakest link that you are still concerned about ahead of this election?
There's no weak link. There's none. If there's a weak link, it means the election will have issue. We have tightened all our knots, crossed our T's, dotted our I, made reservations, made a provision for everything that is needed. We are not expecting any weak link. Don't forget that the election is for 1 day. And if there's any weak link, there will be issue. There will not be issue. We have all rounded up everything that needs to be rounded up, made reservations, extras for everything. So I'm not expecting any weak link.
What about security, which has always been a major concern in Anambra elections? You had the NSA vowing a firm and uncompromising response to violence. Quickly walk us through the kind of coordination that now exists between INEC, the police, DSS, and other security forces expected for this election.
And election security is seamless. The commission formed what we call SS, which is Agency Consultative Committee on Election Security, ICCES. What is it made of? All the security agencies. We have one common meeting. I am the chair in the state. The police is the co-chair. We meet always. That's why last Tuesday, I and the Commissioner of Police came to our head office where we were having the SS at that level. We came and briefed SS, including the National Security Advisor, IGP, and everybody. We briefed them on how prepared we are at the state, both for material INEC and for security. So the synergy is there. Like I've always said, when you come to election in Anambra, the synergy on security is unparalleled. Everybody is hands on deck. You heard the IGP rep saying that they deployed 45,000 security agencies for this election. What does that tell you? We are deploying ad hoc workers of about 24,000, and security is about 45,000. It means we have enough security, and these people have been trained, briefed on what to do. So security is enough, and we have synergy. This is a standalone election. In standalone elections, the security is usually enough because there's mobilization from all over the nation to ensure that nothing goes wrong. We are good, as I can tell you.
All right, Resident Electoral Commissioner, hang in there. Dr. Harry Diogbo, let's take a short break and then we'll be back with this conversation. Stay with us, everyone. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. Dr. Diogbo, you hear INEC say there are no network glitches. They are prepared. The security is on point. They are crossing their T's and dotting their I's. How confident are you and all the political stakeholders in the competence of INEC ahead of this election, based on what you've heard?
Well, I have absolute confidence on INEC. On my sister, the director, we have absolute confidence. But something worries me about the security situation in Anambra State. Some part of Anambra State are still no-go because of insecurity. And the experience we had in the last senatorial election is that the state governor deployed his vigilante group to intimidate voters, to intimidate our agents, to intimidate everybody, even at the polling booths. That the senatorial candidate of our party in that election was held hostage in his house by those security vigilante group deployed by the state governor. And we are not unexpecting that. We're expecting that to happen. So whatever the security apparatus that is being deployed should be mindful of the governor's desperation and intimidation of voters by his vigilante. We have written to all concerned security agencies, to the police and everybody, that the governor should not be allowed to use his security apparatus, his vigilante, to intimidate voters. And we are expecting that could happen in this election.
Madam Agu, I'm wondering what INEC's official position is with the allegation of using state security personnel during elections.
INEC position is clean and clear, unbiased. We had indicated that any security apparatus that is not owned by federal government is not supposed to be part of the election. And it has been agreed in the last recess we had at Abuja that no non-federal security agencies, all the vigilantes are not supposed to be part of election. And the National Security Advisor with the IGP had assured us that they will implement that to the letter.
How influence-proof would you say INEC staff and ad hoc staff are ahead of this election, because they say INEC is perfect until they start mixing with politicians. In previous elections, we've had some of your officers, being indicted. There are allegations of influence here and there. What has happened between the last election and now that makes the average INEC official, have some influence proof with regards to with politicians in the coming election?
One thing is certain: we don't do business in the secular world, in the civil service, in the public service. We don't do business by speculations. Those speculations are part of political gimmicks. But the truth is that we have trained our staff and retrained, and we've cautioned them. We've made sure they will be neutral in the election. But I will not be in the field. We have also mandated the police and other security agencies. We have enough supervisors who will be monitoring what our ad hoc workers will be doing. We have enough supervisors, enough monitors. We've also encouraged the CSOs, who are supposed to be neutral, and I believe they are neutral and are going to be neutral, to monitor and report to us anything. We have a situation room, and if anything is brought to that situation room, it is handled emergency, urgently. So we are very sure that they are going to behave themselves. But these people are human beings, they are Nigerians. If they're doing anything in their private homes, we cannot say. But as the point of engagement, which is on that Thursday when the posting must have been out, we have ensured that people of caliber, of proven integrity, will be moving around them to ensure that they don't do what is not expected of INEC. Don't forget that we have a new chairman, and our chairman is bent on ensuring that Nigerians get value for the money we are spending for this election. The chairman has said severally that he wouldn't want a black leg. And we are sure, through various mechanisms, that the black legs will not be there. And we are also begging the people who want to do vote buying, who want to influence one arm of the election or the other, to stay clear, because the law and other activities will catch up with them.
All right. We're counting on that.
Sure.
Yes. We are really counting on that. But let me quickly hear from Dr. Arodiogu, because vote buying has tainted several elections in the past. How are you ensuring that your campaign remains above board? Are your agents going to sign a code of conduct? Because you know what? Angels don't buy votes. It's actually party members who actually oversee that on election day. And your party and others have been fingered severally in previous election in this regard.
Well, vote buying or any form of electoral fraud is not part of our plan. It's not in any of our plans. We've campaigned strongly, and we are going to election to win. We will vote. Our supporters will vote and monitor and protect their votes. That is our plan. We don't have any plan that is undemocratic or any form of electoral fraud. We want to believe INEC to play their part as enumerated by the director. That is all we look for in this election. That is what we ask for, and that is what we beg the Anambra people.
Well, good place to leave it. I'm just going to ask the rec to, say something for voters in Anambra who are watching this broadcast. How much confidence can they have in this process, especially for those who have given up, that their votes no longer count, and that the fact that they come out does not really matter, that their efforts will impact significantly on election day?
No, that one is in the past. As of today, the Anambra people has confidence in the vote, and they are going to troop out en masse to vote, because they believe they have seen in the few past elections that votes are now counting. If votes are not counting, why do people go to do vote buying? Vote buying is evidence that votes are now counting. But the truth about vote buying is that it's not done in the public. So it's difficult. It's not like mango, oranges, or banana that is sold in the open market. It's something that is done secretly. But INEC is saying, if you see people doing vote buying, can you capture them and be a witness so that INEC will exercise its powers enshrined in the Electoral Act and the Nigerian Constitution?
All right.
But if it is hearsay, it's not working. I am telling the people of Anambra that we are very ready, and they know we've done it before, again and again.
All right.
Free, fair, credible, and peaceful election. Let them troop out en masse. Let it not be hearsay. They say the vote will not count. Vote will always count. It has counted in the past in Anambra.
Good place to leave it. Elizabeth Agu is the resident electoral commissioner for INEC in Anambra. Dr. Ijoma Rodiogbo, APC National Vice Chairman, Southeast. Thank you so much for joining Beyond the Headlines.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
As Anambra heads to the polls on 8th November, the world will be watching not just who wins, but how the process is managed. Thank you for joining this episode. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Ogutoye. The conversation continues online.